and our water bill is once a year, um, which is different than when we lived in the city. Because in the city, the water bill is every month, but here, our water bill is once a year, and we don't pay per use. It's really weird here because we're so far out in the countryside. We don't have a meter. There's no water meter. So the city has a giant water tower, and then we live on a river, and there's a water treatment facility right outside of our town. And so our water is just, it is what it is. And they charge us like, I want to say it's like I don't even know if it was $100. I think I would need to confirm with Chris. I want to say it was like $75 for the whole year for water. Like water costs us nothing where we live. Nothing. Gas for us, we only use gas for cooking, and we have a big 30-liter tank, like the tank that the welders use, right? We have a 30-liter tank I think we fill that up every 4 months. It depends on whether it's winter time or not, because in winter time we use it to heat water up as well. Um, because we don't need a water heater because of where we live. So when we take showers, it's hot enough where we live. The water is always warm, so we don't need, and it's hot enough outside that by the time you're ready to go take a shower, it's nice, refreshing, cooling down shower. But in like November, December, it gets cold enough that you'll actually want to heat your water up. So we heat water during those months. Um, so gas, I think it's like $35, $40 to fill up that 30-liter tank every 4 months. So gas is pretty negligent. Water is negligent. Electric here is expensive. It's about as much as it is in the U.S. It Electric is, yeah. I run this air conditioner 24/7. There are exceptions like when it's cool, like right now when it's raining. I've been sleeping out in the living room at nights, so I'll turn this air conditioner off at night and we'll sleep in the other room with no AC. But I would say I run the AC 24/7 9 months out of the year, maybe 10 months out of the year. That really I don't. The only months I don't use the air conditioner is like December and January, maybe a little bit of November and February. But it's like 9, 10 months out of the year. And my electric's like 150 a month. It would be higher if I wanted to AC this whole house. Chris and I did the math one day, and I think it would cost me like $400 a month. I think it would be like 400 US dollars a month to cool the whole house if we wanted to have air conditioning. But that's the thing, like none of the houses here are um, um, the houses are not insulated, so it's just a concrete block, and so there's no like when you have an air conditioner, you're not. It's only cooling the room while you're in it, because the moment you turn the air conditioner off, it gets hot again because the cool air just goes away quickly because there's no insulation. Like none of the houses here are built with insulation, which is it's cheap construction. Yeah, the homestead is. There's no way I'm getting up right there. I guess I misjudged where I was. It was the nice thing when we were living in Mexico City is like you don't need air conditioner because the year temperature, like annual temperature, is like I think the average high is 20 Celsius. It's like 24 Celsius, 21 Celsius. It's not hot. There was like maybe April, May, I would run a fan, but you never need AC. Whereas here, it's fucking hot. Like, is this facility? Oh, it's a mine.
Security measures lifted. Weapons detected. Be advised that usage is restricted inside facility grounds.
Yeah, but we're not on the grid. Yeah, I don't have resins and alloys. They're back down the mountain. Should I connect? I'm on a mission. Don't get sidetracked. We can do this later. Okay, where the fuck do I go from here? Probably let's go to the pizza chef.
Commencing route creation. Delivery route finalized. Commencing route creation.
There's gotta be a bridge over here somewhere. Over here is where I'm not sure. I have no idea if there's a bridge. So I'm just gonna end that there unless I see
Delivery
a
route
bridge over.
finalized.
Full of exposure to timefall.
Oh, come on now. Alright, we gotta go. We got time for what the frack is that?
Was flying things.
Disengaging weapons restrictions.
Like chiral bats or something. We're about to hit VTs. Great.
Don't stop believing. The BTs are gonna suck my face off.
Should I make the ramp? No, because I'll lose all my stuff. Oh my god, but I might lose all my stuff anyway. That's a mistake. Yo, Pizza Man! I think I have a delivery for his house.
Good evening, Sam.
Yeah, health insurance is... My brother and his family pay an ungodly amount. I think for them and it's my brother, his wife, and their 2 kids, and I think he said they spend like $1,500 a month.
I'll review the orders.
And they're in their 30s, they're in their early 30s. $1,500 a month, and that's U.S. healthcare, which means that doesn't cover shit. They still have co-pays and everything, deductibles for everything.
But I'm glad.
Like $1,500 a month. That's like double. Not quite double. It's almost double my monthly cost of living
Thanks.
just for
But
their
be careful
healthcare.
of it.
And I'm just like, oh. And he's always like, hey, you want to come put a tiny home up on our place? And it's like, Not with those costs, I
The
don't.
sundae you just delivered to the pizza chef appears to have triggered something. Shall we go inside?
I should
Proceed
go
with
inside,
caution, though.
but I need to park my vehicle somewhere safe because well, it's not raining. Let's go inside real quick. I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but
Look, Sam. There's a door over there.
Hydration recommended.
Ghost mechs!
what the? My camera just changed its POV.
Oh, that was a close call. But why would there be ghost mechs inside the pizza chef's facility?
I don't know, bro. Somebody's effing with me is what I think it comes down to. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. There's like no reasoning for that. And no story follow-up, so. Alright. Yeah, this was the first year, and honestly, I think it was the fall. If I hadn't have fallen, I don't think I would have felt it, but that fall last year took the wind out of my sails for sure. Like the recovery for that has been long, slow, painful, and made me feel like an old man. Like I was not feeling old at all. Great health, great shape. You know, I've had a couple of like dings here and there, like when I ripped my tendon off my finger a couple years back, you know, that was 6 months of ouch, that hurts. But like, it was not that big of a deal. This was debilitating. This was like, holy shit, I can't walk. My wife has to take care of me. I can't go anywhere. Chris is doing all the grocery shopping by herself, all of everything all by herself, because I can't even bend over, let alone walk. You know, I can hobble around the house for 10, 15 minutes, you know, but I can't move. Like, literally can't move. And it was like, is this what it's like to be, you know, for the first time in my life, feeling like, oh goodness, you know, is this what it's like to be, is it the word's handicapped, I think, or disabled? I'm not sure what is the politically correct term to use, but is my wife going to be my caretaker for the rest of my life? Like, this is kind of a scary thought process. And thankfully, you know, with physical therapy, I've been able to slowly get better. But there was a period at the end of last year where I had gone to the hospital like 4 or 5 times, and all the hospital, and this is through my primary healthcare provider, they kept giving me the runaround, and it's like, just give me a fucking MRI and be done with it. Oh, you know, can't do the MRI because this, that, and the other. And it's like, you're being stupid. And the last time I went to the hospital was in January. I went and saw, finally got to see a specialist, like an actual specialist in the city. So they sent me all the way up to the city to see a specialist. 3-hour drive, you know, 3-hour trip to the city. I get to the city, and the guy's like, yeah, we can't do MRIs because the healthcare that I have is from, I don't have it anymore. I quit using it because it was like, what's the point? The healthcare that I was on was from my wife's work like 4 years ago, and I just kept paying for it out of pocket, and it covers like 99% of everything I would ever need. but they won't cover MRIs unless you are an active employee of a company. And I am not an active employee because it's that healthcare is for workers in the country, and so the government has that set up, and your spouses can get set up on it, but you can't. There are certain services like orthopedic surgery and MRIs are two things that you have to have an active employee contract to be able to utilize those services, because the hospital says it's reserved for active workers, and I'm not an active worker. So I wasn't able to get an MRI, and the doctor was like, "Here, I'll give you a, I'll give you a shot, an anti-inflammatory shot, and then you need to go start physical therapy, or you could go get an MRI done out of pocket." And I was like, "Well, I don't have a problem paying for it out of pocket. I just, He's like, "Well, before you get an MRI, just go start physical therapy and see how you feel." And so I started physical therapy in February, and like within a week and a half, 2 weeks, started noticing a pretty big difference. And I was like, "Oh." So I've stuck with the therapy, and I've gotten better and better and better over time. So thankfully. But yeah, definitely, yeah, this year I have felt my age. Last year, this year. But yeah, last December, when I finally was like, I was like, I went back to the hospital because, um, so, well, here's a funny story, Transcend. So my wife has the universal health care that the country offers to everybody. I used to have it. 2 years ago, right after the pandemic, when they transitioned to the new president, they changed the system over. And the new system requires you to do everything online. And the old system, all I needed for the old system was like, because I'm a legal migrant here. I have full-time residency. I've done it all. I did it all by the book. I've had permanent residency since 2010. So let's just assume for a minute that this is like my document that has my information on it, like I don't know what numbers you guys use where you live, but like my identification number, right? And all my passport and like all my stuff, this is my paper. The old universal healthcare was, here's my piece of paper, and then the person in the office says, "Okay, cool, let me take your number, put it into the system, you're good to go." And so I had that universal healthcare for years, and that covers 100% of everything. Then 2 years ago, when they switched to the new president, they moved everything to an online format. And when I went online and entered my information into the system, it would not accept my data. It would take everything, and then I would push the accept button, and it would send everything off, and then it would kick back an error, and it was an unknown error. It would say unknown error. That was all it would say. Unknown error. And unfortunately, they don't give you there's no phone numbers to call. This was 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, whenever I fell, like a year and a half ago. There's no number to call. Um, uh, there's no email to email. It's just a website, and that's it. And so when I go to the local hospital and I tell them, "Hey, I need help. Can you please help me fill out my form?" The lady is behind the desk, a nice little old lady. She goes, "Okay, can I have your information?" So I give her my piece of paper. She takes my information. She sits down at her desk. She goes to the same fucking website that I was using to enter my information, and it kicks back the error, unknown error. And she tries it like 6 times in a row, and she gets this puzzled look on her face, and she goes, "Sweetie, I don't know what's going on, but unfortunately, I can't help you get registered on the new system because I don't know what's going on, and there's no number for me to call." And I just remember going, "Are you serious right now? Like, what do you mean you can't? You can't, you work for the hospital. Like, you can't manually enter my information?" So the new system that they moved on to at the time was new, and none of the workers knew how to manually add. Supposedly, Chris has talked to somebody who talked to somebody who said that that kink has been worked out, and I've been told, well, that was the assumption, Hector, but we actually went and talked to the manager of the hospital, and it's like, no, 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 no. He's like, he told me, he's like, we've got 6 other, and he knew the exact number because there's so few foreigners who live here. He's like, we have 6 other foreigners who live here who are in our medical system. It's not because you're a foreigner. He's like, something's obviously off with the system. Because I know in Mexico City, one of the times when Chris went to go register me under her health insurance, um, I only have 3 names. So my name is, you know, Bob Dylan Smith, right? Well, in Mexico, they use 4 names, like Juan Gomez Selena, your mama. Like they use 4 names. And so all the forms, when you go into the internet and fill out forms on the internet, it all has 4 names. And I don't have 4 names, I have 3. So I remember in Mexico City one time, the worker literally just put Lopez in the 4th box. So I was dun 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 Lopez. And so the joke was that everyone started calling me Senor Lopez because they just put a name in there because it wouldn't take my 3 names. It had to be 4. And so we assumed that it was because of that, and then someone told us that that wasn't the case. All I know is that at some point this summer we're going to go back because I let my other health insurance expire in June. So I'm about a month out. I don't have any coverage right now. So we're going to go back here in the next month or 2 and go back to that hospital and be like, hey, it's been a year and a half. Supposedly they have workers at the hospital now who can manually enter. Supposedly they have fixed the system to where the local, like the actual people in the office, can go into the system and manually enter your information now, whereas they couldn't before. So I should be able to get back on the universal system because the universal system is awesome. I used it for years and years. I've been here 15 years and I've used it for years, and it covers everything. I've also used the system when that Chris was using for a while when she was working, and that system's awesome as well. Right, Hector, it sucks. Like the computer says no, and then no one knows how to fix it. It's like, oh well, that's just that they just don't know, and there's no number for us to call, and it's like, are you fucking serious? Like, come on now. Like, that's not an acceptable answer. Like, oh, got music. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. Oh, this is a big facility. Yeah, the system here is really good. It was very disappointing when they switched everything to computers, and no one knows how to work the system. And the problem was because in the cities, it's easy because that's where all the headquarters are. So the cities get it first, and then the whole countryside outside of that takes like 2, 3 years to get up to the same speed as the rest of the cities because it's like things move at a glacial pace. Here's a perfect example of that, actually. Let me get to a safe spot. I have another anecdotal story to tell. So the system that I was using through Christina's work for a long time that I just kept running in the background has an app that you have on your phone. And when I lived in the city, if I wanted to schedule an appointment, I literally just go on the app. It's literally that simple. I go on the app, all my information is in the app. I click schedule an appointment, it pulls up my clinic, my doctor, and then it shows me a calendar and it shows me the available dates. And it's always like 2 or 3 weeks out because the doctor's always busy, right? So I could always go in there and I could just pick a date, pick a time on the date, and schedule my appointment from the app. I never needed to go to the doctor's office. I never needed to call the doctor's office. I did everything through the app. And then if I needed something that was like, I'm not feeling good today, I don't want to wait 2 weeks to see my doctor, I would go to the clinic, and there are like 12 other doctors on staff that have their little offices on the same floor. And you go up to that floor and you go to the reception and you say, I don't feel good. And they say, okay, please sit down. We will see which doctor has the next available opening. And then you sit for 15 minutes. They call your name. You go up and they're like, go to door number 9. And in 45 minutes, they have an opening and you can go see the doctor. It's that simple. This fucking app is worthless here. I live in the middle of nowhere, and that healthcare system, we have a local clinic, which is where I was going after my fall last year. They don't have, the app doesn't work here. You literally, and I'm not joking, this is the most horrible thing ever. Like, living out in the countryside is good for a lot of things, but this experience, I was very grumpy about this. So because the app doesn't work, and you can't call, so they make you go to the physical clinic and wait in line to talk to somebody to schedule your appointment. But here's the or you wait to see a doctor. But here's the thing. They don't open the doors until 8 o'clock in the morning at that clinic. And here's the thing. It's first come, first serve. So what people do is they start lining up at 5 o'clock in the morning outside of the door, so that when the doors open at 8 o'clock, it's first come, first served. There is no appointment. The app is worthless, so I can't schedule an appointment. And I can't schedule, so there is no appointment system at this local clinic. None. It's first come, first served for everything. First come, first served to see the doctor that day, and first come, first served to even get to talk to somebody to schedule an appointment if you want to go see someone in a week from now. So here I am with a fucked up leg, and it's like and there's no seating. There's no seating outside. It's literally, you're outside the building, there's the street, line up. And it's like, I have a fucked up leg. I can't go stand 3 hours outside of a building waiting. It's like, how am I supposed to go see a local doctor? And so what happened is I just had to wait until 8 o'clock in the morning when they opened, so that the doors were open, because there's seating inside. So I would have to go and I would have to sit down at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would wait until about 11 o'clock to be able to even see a doctor. And I had to do that 6 or 8 times. I was so frustrated and so pissed because I got so used to the city where it's like, schedule it through the app, or you go in, and the maximum I ever waited in the city was 45 minutes. The max. And here, yeah, we don't have a car. So, yeah, that doesn't work. We don't have a car. So it's like, it was this really frustrating experience to deal with that particular branch of my healthcare that I'd had for years, just being so poorly operated out here in the middle of nowhere. And when you talk to the doctors, they complain about it's a lack of, we're in the countryside. No one cares about the countryside. It's like, yeah, you're in the country. If you want good service, go to the city, which is 3 hours away. And it's like, that sucks. But that really drove me nuts. Is like, I couldn't do anything on the app. What's the point of having the app on my phone anymore? And then having to wait outside. You have to line up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Rain, snow, or shine. Sitting out there with the mosquitoes. And it's like, I don't have a way. I can't sit down. There's no chairs. And literally, it was Chris and I were looking at, do I need to just get like a camping chair on Amazon to take with me, Anyway, that goes back to what we were talking, what question earlier about. That whole experience over the last year has made me feel Because that whole like I can't even go to a building and the idea of standing for 3 hours is like I can't do that, and that made me feel old. That made me feel my age. It was like, God damn it. So what? What's next? I'm gonna be in a wheelchair and oh, that's what a lot of people do, JK. Literally, that's what a lot of people do. Is like they will just pay their cousin or something like $10 and be like, look, man, go stand in line for me for 2 hours. I'll pay you 10, $20 or whatever. And then you show up, take their chair. Now, if you're over 60,
I appreciate you coming all this way.
you don't have to go
You're
anywhere
a
these
lifesaver.
days. The
I'm
new
not just
government
saying that either. I
brought
mean it.
um,
Seriously.
visiting doctors
yeah.
back for
Right.
anybody over the age of
So let's get
60.
this
The
cargo
doctors
process
come to
phased
you.
out.
They come to your house. So if you're over 60, you don't have to go anywhere here, which is kind of cool.